from Liverpool, and he was not an old man, early 50s, healthy man, Algerian, healthy man. He used to be a lecturer in John Moores University, and when you looked at him, nothing wrong with him, but suddenly a brain tumour overtook him, and there we were standing at the grave. And when you stood at the grave praying the janazah, or when you're burying the body there and you're making dua at the grave, you suddenly realise that there's nothing permanent. That there's nothing permanent. You make dua and you reflect over that person, you realise as you're leaving, the angels come to that person. The angels come to that person. And that's haqiqah, because he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said it. As-Sadiq al-Masduq sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said it. The one who's truthful, who never lied, and the one who's believed in everything that he said that when the footsteps stop going, the two angels come down. And that's why when you stand at that grave, you remind him, you say to him, when the two angels come to you, say to them that Allah subhanahu is my Lord. Say to them that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is my prophet. Say to them that Islam is my religion. You do talqeen al-mayt. You remind them what to say at that point. When you stand there over there, then you suddenly realise that there's nothing permanent. Everything we do will just perish and it'll be gone. Everything that we do has no value whatsoever, except for those moments with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you stand and thinking, mashallah, he was a good man. The man who died there, was buried there, he was a good man. He was not known to do sin, not known to do haram. Salih, rajul salih, a pious man. But at the end of it, you think, what did he actually take on with him? What did he actually take on with him? What you take on with you when you leave this world? What you take on with you when you leave this world? It's all about the beyond, it's not about the now. It's all about the beyond. It's all about the barzakh, and it's that meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's got nothing to do with this. And so the only moments that we have that we can treasure are those, as Imam al-Junayd said, رُكَيْعَاتْ كُنْتُ أُصَلِّيهِمَا فِي جَوْفِ اللَّيْلِ. Are those just brief rak'ahs, small rak'ahs that I used to pray in the depths of the night. That's all that makes a difference with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing. Small little things, but it's significant. Small little things, but they're significant because of the purity of the intention of that person when he did that. So we reflect now as we go into Ramadan. This is another chance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened up, a window that He's opened up for us. We struggle through our life, or we struggle through our year. 11 months of the year we struggle. We've got a battle. We're held down. A lot of things hold us down. Amongst the things that hold us down is just our desire to make money. Amongst the things that hold us down, we think this is the most important thing that we have. Amongst the things that hold us down is our arch enemy, Iblis, the devil. Amongst the things that hold us down are people that we keep company with. There are people who are shayateen. There are people who behave like devils. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about min al-jinnati wal-nas. Min al-jinnati wal-nas. There are people who do yuwaswisu fi sudur al-nas min al-jinnati wal-nas. There are people who put suggestions into your mind, who make you think things that are important that are not important, who convince you that making money is the most important thing that you've got in your life. And there will be people who will be putting those ideas in your mind. Min al-jinnati wal-nas. The last ayah in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you that those thoughts are not just coming from Iblis. There's human beings who put thoughts in your mind as well. There are human beings that put thoughts in your mind. There are human beings who will divert you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in the end, we all have our own responsibilities. We all have our own responsibilities. There comes a moment where we have to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it's only lahadat. We only have moments. And really they are. Saying lahadat is not an exaggeration. It really is only moments. When you think about infinity, subtract from infinity 70 years. It has no impact upon it. Subtract from eternality 70 years. Nothing whatsoever. It doesn't even affect it. It's like just putting a pin into the ocean, lifting it out, see that drop of water that came out. That's all it is. It doesn't affect anything whatsoever. But these moments, these lahadat, are what determine your eternality. These moments are what determine your eternality. So there has to be a point where we decide now to come back to Allah subhanahu and overcome these hurdles. 11 months of struggle, but then Allah subhanahu gives us an opening. He gives us an opening. He gives us now a chance. our arch enemy, the one who wants to destroy us, as he wanted to destroy our father and mother Adam and Hawa alayhim as-salam. As he wanted to destroy them, our arch enemy, and he's working day and night, and he never stops. We're the ones who stop. We're the ones who stop. Every single moment. When you read the tafasir of Surah Al-Nas, it is actually an eye-opener and shocking what actually happens. The Mufassiri mention about Surah Al-Nas where it says, وَلَعُذُ بِالنَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ لَهِ النَّاسِ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ. They mention that inside of your body there's a devil. There's a devil, Qareeb, your companion devil. His legs are in your legs, his feet are in your feet, his arms are in your arms, his hands are in your hands. His body is in your body. He fits in and shapes himself according to your body, but his head is at your heart. His head is at your heart. Some of the awliya of Allah, they asked to be seen. Also mentioned Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, he asked to see the Qareeb, and that's how they described it. They said they saw a creature within the body with a head looking, and different descriptions of the head. Some mentions like a pig, some mention like a monkey, some mention like birds, like vultures, looking into your heart. And the Mufassirin say, what are they looking at? What's that devil looking at? It's a Noor-ul-Iman within your soul. He wants to extinguish it. That flame, that light of faith that's in your soul, that devil wants to extinguish it. He never leaves you. At this moment we have him locked and chained with us, Qareeb, every single one of us. He's talking every single moment. He never stops. The only thing that stops him is when we do dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what silences him. The only thing that stops him is Ayatul Kursi. The only thing that stops him is reading Surah Al-Nas. And Imam Ibn Ajib mentioned, and also the lights that come from the hearts of the Arifin. The lights that come from the hearts of the people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, blind that devil. We carry that all every single moment. And his battle is just to destroy you as he destroyed, or not as he destroyed, but as he tried to mislead our father and mother Adam and Hawa. And Imam al-Bajuri rahimahullah mentions, he says in his commentary in the Burda, he says when he speaks, وَخَالِفِ النَّفْسَ وَالشَّيْطَانَ وَعَصِيهِمَا, oppose your nafs, your soul, and the shaitan, and disobey them. وَإِنْهُمَا مَحَضَاكَ النُّصْحَ فَاتَّهِمْ. And even if they give you advice, criticize them, don't believe them, because your nafs and the devil are your arch enemies. They're the ones that need to be controlled. Our father and our mother Adam and Hawa alayhim as-salam were addressed by Iblis, where he said, وَقَاسَمَهُمَا إِنِّي لَكُمَا لَمِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. He swore an oath to them that I'm a sincere advisor, and he still affected them. He still affected them. But to you and I, he said, إِنِّي لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ مُبِينٌ. He said, I'm an open enemy to you. He said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ. That I'm going to attack them from behind them, from in front of them, from their right and from their left. وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. And you will not find most of them to be grateful. Iblis in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he waged war against every single human being. With our father and mother, he was deceptive. He swore an oath to them, but even then he still affected them. Even then he still affected them. With you and I, he's not going to let up. He's not going to let up. So we have these types of hurdles and barriers. We have all of these problems in front of us. And then the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes with the month of Ramadan. The rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these are nafahat ilahiyya. The Prophet spoke about that. He said, أَلَا إِنَّ فِي رِيَّامِ دَهْرِكُمْ لَنَفَحَاتٍ. The Prophet said, in the days of your life, there are nafahat, there are divine breezes. Winds of mercy come down upon you. You're always tasting from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's never a moment that you don't taste from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there are moments where it increases. There are moments where it increases. Those moments before Fajr are when it increases. Those moments before Fajr are when it increases. Jum'ah, when it increases. Your opportunity, every single moment you have a chance now, there could be a moment in there where you make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and everything's forgiven. And your eternity could be changed. At every single Fajr, just open your eyes and make a dua. Allah forgive me every single sin I've committed. And if you coincide with that blessed moment, everything's been forgiven. On Jum'ah, every single moment in Jum'ah should be just repeating Allahumma ghfirli, Allahumma ghfirli, Allahumma ghfirli. Because there's a moment in there that the Prophet said that if a dua coincides with that moment, everything, it's guaranteed acceptance. Guaranteed acceptance. So you have these nafahat ilahiyya, you have these extension of divine grace and breezes of divine mercy that pour down upon you. Ramadan is one of the greatest of those. Ramadan is one of the greatest of those. And if you understood what's been given out by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Ramadan, we'd lock ourselves in the mosque for the whole month. We'd never leave the mosque if we understood what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us in that month. And the Prophet did lock himself in the mosque the last 10 days. Just turned to worship Allah. In those last 10 days, he increased in his worship to the point where he would wake up his wives and not let any of them go to sleep in the last 10 days. He barely slept in the last 10 days. And that's why they said, that's the ones who celebrate on the day of Eid. They're the ones who celebrate on the day of Eid. Those who did ijtihad, those who strove lillahi ta'ala, those who never slept, not those who stuffed themselves every single night in Eid. Like Sa'id ibn Jubayr from the Tabi'een, one of the great Tabi'een, said in the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, which are another set of 10 blessed days, the first days of Dhul Hijjah that run up to Eid al-Adha, said he would increase so much in worship to the point on Eid itself he could barely stand. He could barely stand on the day of Eid. If we understood what's going on in Ramadan, we'd give up everything. We just do the bare minimum what's required and just turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely. Because those are the moments that matter when we go beyond. Nothing else matters except for those moments. So set ourselves targets. Quran, dhikr, salawat, all of these things, that's all that lasts. They're al-baqiyat al-salihat, the majalis al-ilm, the circles of knowledge. And inshallah in the session afterwards we're going to speak about the circles of knowledge. Because there's no coming to Allah subhanahu without knowledge. There's no way you can get to Allah subhanahu without knowledge. And our journey of our life is a journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We came from Him and we're going back to Him. Our whole life is just a journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you can't walk on that journey without knowledge. The jahil will never get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one who doesn't know his Lord will never get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will never taste the sweetness of Allah mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will never really understand the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we don't really understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is about. We don't really understand what He sallallahu alaihi wasallam is about. So majalis al-ilm, the gatherings of knowledge, the gatherings of dhikr, remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the gatherings of Quran, these are the gatherings where our distribution, or where we're receiving for eternality, immortality. And when you sit in this gathering, as we're all aware, and we just remind ourselves, because reminding is beneficial to the believers. Right now here we have angels all the way to the Arsh of Ar-Rahman. We have angels, and that's something we all know. We all know that. That's circling above us all the way up to the Arsh of Ar-Rahman, all the way to the throne of Ar-Rahman, all the way to the throne of the beneficent His angels. And they're witnessing what's going on. And they go to Allah subhanahu and tell Him, and He already knows what's going on. And He already knows what's going on. So why do they witness? Because they're our witnesses with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Yawm al-Qiyamah. That we had armies and armies and legions of angels all the way to the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the baqiyat salihat. These are the moments that last. When you stay here now in the mosque and you stay all the way up to Fajr and you stay to Ishraq, and you should all stay in the masjid tonight. You should all stay in the masjid tonight. Because these are moments that will last. What's going to happen? You're going to go home and sleep. Sleep in the mosque. Sleep in the mosque. Why not just make your sleep an act of worship? Because you go to sleep in the mosque and you go to sleep at home. You're sleeping in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And while you're there you read some Quran. While you're there you do some salah. And even if you're not going to be up for it, just sleep in the mosque. You're not going to get up to anything wrong in the mosque. You're not going to, there's always temptation, there's always possibility of doing other things. You're not going to do anything. The mosque is a fortress. It protects you. It protects you. This is Hisn al-Hasin. This is a fortified building of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So stay here. These are al-baqiyat al-salihat. And this is khayrun 'inda rabbika. This is the best thing that you can do with your Lord. So don't worry about other things. Don't worry about your dunya. Don't worry about your rizq. Your rizq is guaranteed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Ibn Ata'illah, he said, you striving for that which you've been guaranteed. and abandoning and not concerning yourself about that which you've not been guaranteed is a clear sign of intimas al-basira, of spiritual blindness. You're working so hard for rizq, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you you're getting your rizq. He's told you that your food will come. He's told you that your food will come. You've got that guarantee. Especially here, we live in England, nobody goes hungry here. Every single day you have 2, 3, 4 meals every single day. Nobody goes hungry. Even without trying, we always have our food, we always have our meals. But we don't care about our akhirah. Make dua for our akhirah, spend the night in the masjid, walhamdulillah rabbil alameen, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.